This is IA Forward, your playbook for success as an independent insurance agent. Here to help you knock it out of the ballpark are your hosts, Shane Tatum and Tonya Lead.
Welcome to IA Forward. Let's go back to basics today and talk about the 4 S's of being a successful business owner. This is one of those lessons that I learned from an extraordinary mentor very early on. And like everything else you learn in your 20s, it went in one ear and out the other, and I didn't really apply it. And I look back on myself in my 20s, and had I applied this, I probably would have been more successful much quicker.
I think that's pretty much everything in our 20s and maybe into our 30s is that if we would have listened, I think I listened. It's just that I thought I knew better, or maybe that I just had a better way because I was young and this person was old. And now that I'm old and talking to younger people a lot, I was a stupid, arrogant, young dude. And I just needed to have listened more, maybe applied some things, and I wouldn't have had so many painful moments throughout my business career.
Mine was the opposite of that. I had extraordinary mentors. I read every business and personal development book that I could get my hands on. And I had so many different ideas coming at me that it wasn't that I was listening to the people that were closest to me. It's that I was listening to too many people and too many things and tried to create something complicated where had I just gone with the 4 S's, I would have been to use your word, simplified way of doing things from the beginning.
I think that's a lot of people. I think that's certainly, it's easier to get complicated because we think that you need to be complicated in order to be successful. Interestingly enough, I have this thing that sits on my desk. It's under my glass. It's just a printed out piece of paper that I have highlighted in certain areas. And it is the Buffett Seeking Good Companies to Acquire document. That's what it says. Buffett Seeking Good Companies to Acquire. It is just something that was shared with me. And it's something from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Down here in number 5, it says simple businesses. If there's a lot of technology, we won't understand it. Now, I don't know how long it's been out there, but for 2 guys who are obviously now in their 90s, back whenever they wrote this, they would have at best been in their 70s, maybe 60s. So they're still old guys. They've been old my whole life. For them to put out there, if there's a lot of technology, we won't understand it. They're basically saying this is who we are. And if you have one of the most valuable businesses in the world saying they're looking for simple businesses, then I think that's a cue. And I wish I would have had this when I was 25. And because I think simple wins.
So maybe we call these the 4 S's of simplification. How's that?
That sounds good.
So the 4 S's as they were presented to me were sales, service, systems, and strategy. And everything within our agency should fit in one of those things, right? That's a lot to cover in a 20 to 25 minute podcast. So we're going to break those up in let's talk service and strategy today. And I love service and strategy together because I think so many of our agency owners base their entire image of their agency internally on the idea that what makes them different is that they give the best service. 9 times out of 10, if I ask an agency owner, what makes your agency special or unique? The answer is going to be what?
I provide the best service.
And so that makes you unique just like everyone else, right? And the next question I always ask is, what makes your service so special? And I either get 2 answers. I get a blank stare, or I get the answers of either I'm going to call them back within 24 hours, I'm going to email them back within 24 hours, or that I can give them the choice of all of these different carriers. I hate to tell you, neither one of those 2 things makes you unique, special, or really offers fantastic service. Those are the bare minimums when it comes to service.
The things that we say set us apart as an industry are things that are automatically expected in the customer experience. So it is funny to hear someone, brand strategist, someone like yourself coming from outside the industry from all those years. We need that outside perspective to continue to help us be unique in the marketplace and bring different strategies to the table. It is this reality that what we say our strength is has become the expected. And so once it becomes expected, is it really a strength? When a customer starts to do business with you, isn't there some inherent expectations? Don't you have those as a consumer? You have to turn that around and make it personal and put yourself in their shoes and say, would I consider the service, the experience that I am providing, would I consider it a strategic advantage? And I'm not really sure that a lot of us can really say that. You left one out, by the way, with what makes your service so valuable and unique. And it is that you provide all of my customers my cell phone number.
Don't do it. Have a business number that forwards to your cell phone number, but don't hand it out. Because I'm telling you, when people call you at 3 o'clock in the morning with a question or wanting to add something, you're going to really wish you hadn't have done that. So most people's idea of great service within our industry is really pretty basic. And one of the reasons for that is we don't necessarily sit down and spend the time to figure out what is considered great service. What do you consider great service? And having a strategy for that. So Shane, if you were creating the perfect strategy for our organization with the idea of great service, what would it look like?
First of all, I want to change the term. I don't want to think about service. I want to think about customer experience. I think it truly is something that we need to think about doing, is transitioning, if you haven't already done this, to a place where you're thinking about things from this bottom up, customer first, and thinking about what is the experience that we're going to provide. I would even consider moving away from internal titles like CSR or customer service rep. I would move to at least account management, account executive, something around the idea that you want to do something better or different around service and transition that to customer experience. Customer success manager, I think that's a really popular one that seems to have popped up. First and foremost, you have to change your people. You have to help your people understand that the strategy that you're after here is that things that should automatically be done are not necessarily the good service elements. They're automatic. If you want a wow factor, it's got to be something other than you responded quickly to an ID card request. The question is, why didn't your customer know to go pull that ID very quickly off your website? That is movement to a strategy that says, I want to allow my customers to have a great customer experience. And everything starts with, what would you want if you were no longer the agent and you were the customer?
I love LL Bean's vision for their customer service. From a corporate perspective, their vision is to sell good merchandise at a reasonable profit, treat your customers like human beings, and they will always come back for more. Honesty wins. I love that. Good merchandise, reasonable profit, treat your customers like human beings. That's what they promote to their team members and even tell their customers that's their goal. And I think that's pretty fantastic.
I think it's great, but make sure that you can do it. If you say it, then do it. That is something that I hear a lot of. We provide great customer service. Okay. Have you used your customer service? Do you know what your customer service interaction actually is? Which is why I moved to the customer experience piece. That's great. I love LL Bean's strategy there. I love what they say. Are they doing it? I want to make sure that we don't just say this is what we're going to do. I want to make sure that we actually validate, trust but verify, that we actually do what we say we're going to do, because the surefire way to run off a customer or create something terrible for your brand and organization is to say you do something and then you don't actually do it. I want to make sure that my customer experience hits 100% of the time. So if I can't do everything that I want to do day one, then maybe I need to pull back a little bit until I know that I can actually achieve that goal.
Ultimately, the idea of customer service, customer experience To me, the goal is to create trust. And if you're creating trust, then in this day and age of social media, then you are creating brand ambassadors. While boomers and Gen X have a tendency to not be extremely vocal with positive experiences with organizations. Now, negative experiences, absolutely, but positive experiences, not so much. With our younger generations, they become brand ambassadors. And about 60% of people that have a positive experience are going to tell their friends and family. And that is huge when people are asking, how do I market to our younger generations? That's how you do it. You create the customer experience they're looking for, and they're going to become a brand ambassador for you.
I can't believe you would say that the Xers would bring negativity to the table.
82% of consumers in our generation will abandon a brand after any kind of negative experience.
The key there is abandonment. I probably am very quick to abandon the brand or abandon the process if it doesn't feel good. Now, I'm probably not going to shout from the mountaintops, like you say. I'm probably not going to get out there and just blast somebody. I'm not going to do that to another business. One of my pet peeves is blasting other small businesses or other businesses. I've seen that happen in our community a couple of times, and I've had some one-on-one defending that I've done. Just, hey, do you realize that that Sonic location that you're blasting actually has a franchisee that lives in our community? And so when you say that their high schooler didn't get your order right on social media and share it 42 gazillion times, do you actually realize what you're doing? Because that doesn't feel good. There's some misinterpretations there, and I would never do that, right? I would never be that negative person. We do tend, as we get older, to become more sensitive to negative environments, and I don't want to be that. But I think we have to understand that as business owners, to your point, that is not the normal makeup of the consumer marketplace.
For our more seasoned listeners, this means that what means a great customer experience to you is not necessarily a great customer experience to our millennials. So it may be an adjustment of mindset for you to make that happen. If your idea of a great customer experience involves a handwritten follow-up note, that doesn't mean the same thing to millennials as it does to me. I love a handwritten follow-up note. That's what I do on Saturday mornings during football season while I'm watching ESPN College Game Day. That's my Saturday morning thing, is that I am writing those notes. I'm writing those birthday cards. I also keep them in my purse. So if I'm waiting in line somewhere in my car, I'll grab a note out. I'll jot it down. I'll have it addressed and ready to go when I get home. But that may not necessarily be what a fantastic customer experience is for the younger generation, because they don't necessarily check their mail the way we do.
Or they think it's a scam. Everything in the mail is a scam. In some of my conversations with my Gen Z daughters, understanding that this is how they lived in college, this is how they live as young adults into probably married life and young families, is one of those insights into how do you create a great customer experience for the multi-generational agency.
Going back to the idea of creating this customer experience, whether you want to call yourself a chief amazement officer or whatever, that's a term that I'm seeing thrown around a lot lately. And I know that Shane just got this really snarky expression on his face when I said that. But it all goes back to the idea that no matter how we try to define our brand, ultimately that brand is defined by the customer experience. And that experience has to be delivered by our employees. And we as business owners can decide to create this idea of what the customer experience should be all day long. But unless we are able to translate that and help our team members understand what we want from them and why we want to create this experience, then it doesn't matter.
Tonya's 100% right. today. I didn't say she would be right tomorrow, but today she's right in that customer experience is through your people. Unfortunately, for some of you guys that are tired of hearing me talk about core values, I have to go there because that is the place how you teach your people to be you, to make decisions that you would make, to think about the interactions the way you would want them to happen when you're not there. That is step number one. And that means you have to write down your core values. You have to think about how do you do things. If it's just you, if you're the solopreneur, do it now. Write down, why do you do what you do? How do you do what you do? And I don't mean procedurally. This is how you think about everything. And then when you hire your first employee, when you hire your second, third, 10th, 12th employee, they continue to be trained first and foremost on putting everything through your core value filter. Our core values are honesty wins, serve others, dependability, earn your way, and make it personal. We teach our people how to put every decision through the core value lens. There is a core value for every situation in our organization. I've never seen that not be the case. And I've never seen an employee who truly put the situation through the filter who did not come out with one or two at a minimum of the core values to rely on. Ever since we formalized our core values, wrote them down, showed them to our people, trained our people on what they meant, because you got to define that. You got to define what make it personal means. I had to go and say, make it personal. Put yourself in their shoes. Okay. Put yourself into their spot. See how you would feel if this was happening to you. So many emotions get brought into that just in and of itself, empathy and so forth. And so ever since that happened, I've never seen one of our team members who truly put the situation through the core value filter who didn't make the right decision.
One of the first books that Shane had me read when I joined the organization was Raving Fans. And that is a fantastic place to start. If you're not quite sure how to create this customer experience or what you want this customer experience to look like, check that one out. If you're not a reader, I can't tell you to download this one on Audible because it is not available as an audiobook, but it's a super easy read. I really enjoyed it. So Raving Fans, that's one that I think is absolutely necessary. And when you're thinking about customer experience, I try to think about it in three ways. One is customer satisfaction. Are they happy? Did they enjoy the experience? Number two, are they thinking about how great this was to become a brand ambassador? Was something done to create that 5-star rating online? Is there a way for them to do that easily? Number three would be how much effort did it take for them to purchase insurance from me? How much effort did it take for them to be happy with our product? And that goes back to what Shane was saying is try to use your products from the customer experience end. So to me, those are your three KPIs. Are they happy? Are they willing to say that we are amazing? Are they becoming raving fans? And then how much effort did it take for them to have an outcome?
My asterisk is you're in the insurance business. A lot of times people come at you with the expectation of a negative experience. Changing that is part of what makes a great customer experience process and mindset for customers. If you don't expect necessarily that your people are so excited to have this insurance interaction, you're not selling them a boat. You're not in the business of some vacationing product. Let's just understand our business first and foremost. And I think that's why I say a little bit of an asterisk. I'm not trying to make it to where insurance is always rainbows and butterflies. I'm trying to help you understand that if you see this thing through the positive lens and you smile through the phone and your interaction is as a customer first and then as an agent, you understand the process that you're putting your people through, then you're going to stand out in such a way that is extremely rewarding because most people are going to run at you with some negative type of attitude. It's just the nature of our industry, but we don't have to buy into that. It's easy to say, this is why people see us this way. change that. Be different. Be unique. Do something positive for your customers in such a way that makes you so different than, oh, your price is going up. Sorry about that. That's part of changing the conversation, is moving things to an amazing experience.
An amazing experience does not have to always involve human interaction. And this is one of those places where things have evolved. For me, I am a self-service customer support person. I want to be able to go online or go into my app. I want to be able to answer my own questions. I want to be able to download my ID cards. I don't want to have to talk to a person in order to be able to do those things. And sometimes I get the feeling that our insurance agents think that I'm going to do it all myself. They've got to hear my voice. I've got to build this relationship. Yes, you do have to build relationship, but sometimes part of that building relationship process is that you've been able to unify those interactions and allow me to do it myself at 2:00 in the morning when I am not going to pick up the phone and call you.
We've missed the purpose of self-service because we've moved way beyond this idea that just because you have self-service makes you unique. That's the tried and tired view of my service is great, which is what makes me unique or makes me great. Having self-service of some level, basic self-service, that should be automatic for every agency at this point. There are so many websites, management systems that have integrated pieces. There are apps out there that you can subscribe to at a relatively inexpensive price for what you're getting. Having that available today is like where we were 10 years ago with a website. I don't know if you can imagine this, but probably in the early 2010s, there was surveys out there that only like 50% of agencies had websites still. And it was mind-boggling. Like in 2012, 2013, you don't have a website. But now that new discussion is, wait a minute, I can't go get an ID card myself, or I can't go make a change on a policy or request a change myself? The answer is yes, you can, but you need to move there as an agency owner. You need to make sure you have that available, and then you need to test it. You need to do it yourself, which is what I've been doing. Hey, this is me. This is what we've done. We've looked at both mobile-friendly sites and apps. And we made the decision to basically stay and go down the path of mobile friendly. Our reasoning for that, and I am not against apps, is that we use our apps in insurance so infrequently that so many phones are set to make them offload and then they have to be re-downloaded, whereas a mobile-friendly site is always up. It's always there. And we went to mobile friendly. We decided it was just simpler for the insurance customer and the insurance interaction. If we've got a customer needing to use their insurance app every week, I'm going to question the type of customer you're dealing with. That feels like something that is really crazy to me. I don't care which direction you go. I'm neutral there. What I care about is that you go one direction or the other. Either go down the path of mobile friendly, self-service, features, or go down the path of licensing you an app and going that path so that you can actually provide things that are now becoming necessary and automatic. Because if you're not there, then you're already several steps behind in the customer experience process.
I just had to go and look at my apps, and they either have to do with sending money, ordering food, buying things, or making travel reservations, whether it's an airline or a hotel. Oh, and LSU sports, of course. Oh, and banking. I have banking apps too. So yeah, but those are all things that I use on a very regular basis.
Banking, certainly. Travel, certainly. News, social. I don't love the fact that I need all these apps clogging up my phone. I'm picking at our industry, right? Insurance is just not one of those apps. But I know that I can easily find my agency's website. I can easily Google my agency. I can easily do the things to find the site. And when I get to that site in 2 clicks, 1 click, or 1 tap on my phone, then I'm right there. It's very easy for me to log in to our mobile-friendly site and gain access to my ID card, to make a change request, to just look and make sure that I've got what I need. All those things are available in this mobile-friendly side. They're also available on the apps. I just don't see it as a consumer, and I may be unique in that.
This idea of a fantastic customer experience is a marathon. It is not a sprint. We know you're busy. We know, especially in this hard market, that your brain is somewhere else. Take the time to figure this out. Take the time to create your service strategy. What experience do you want your customers to have? Because you may have somebody like me ask you that question. What makes you different? Why should I buy insurance from you instead of the other 3 people on the corners around you, right? Because there's an insurance agency, I think, on every single corner in Pensacola, Florida. Why would I buy insurance from you? If your answer is because I offer great customer service, or your answer is because I can shop your insurance amongst a bunch of carriers, then you're giving me the same answer that everyone else is.
The choice model, right? We've hung our hat on that for years. That's one that obviously it's part of the core offering of what an independent agency does. But I think you're fighting a losing battle there because, again, you're the brand. They see you as the agent. They see you as their problem solver. Just being able to say that you shopped it across multiple carriers, it's part of what you do. It isn't the unique you. It may be unique against State Farm, but even Progressive Direct has gotten into this game, right? We're going to shop across multiple carriers for you. They've been doing that for years. They stole our thunder. Shame on them. It's one of those things that we have to get out of and go, okay, wait a minute. Where's the true experience value here? How do we do this in a better way than just these tried and tired methods that really haven't gotten us where we want to get to?
We were going to cover 2 S's today, but service is so incredibly important in our business. Let's just go with one, and we will pick this up next time for strategy, because that is Shane's strength, and I want to give him plenty of time to talk about that. I'm going to leave us today with this quote from NBA coach Phil Jackson. Wisdom is always an overmatch for strength.
Attitude's a choice. Make a great one.
Bye, y'all.
Ready to get the ball rolling with your independent agency? Learn more at IntegraAgent.com. That's IntegraAgent.com. Thank you for joining us on IA Forward. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now, or learn more at IAForward.com.